a kidnapping case of a little girl. And that little girl at that time was just slightly older than my own daughter. Having to hear and try to console the girl's parents day in, day out over that period of the case. I literally went home. Whenever I look at my own daughter at that time, I literally went to a corner myself. I tried to go to a room myself and cry.
Of course.
Because the questions that was playing in my head was, what would I do if my own daughter was being kidnapped? How would I feel if my own daughter was being kidnapped?
Yeah.
So those questions constantly staying there every single moment when I went home, look at my own daughter. I needed to have some time off, go to a room, quiet, and share some tears on my own. Ko Canada here te maunga, ko Region te awa, ko Raymond toku ingoa. Kia ora.
Kia ora. I can only say ko I'm your toku ingoa. The rest I have to look at the paper. That's very impressive, Raymond.
Just the mere basic. Well, try to emphasize it on myself to learn, because biculturalism, we are living in in a land where we do need to learn a bit of kōrero.
And acknowledge that, isn't it? Like I agree, because I personally also, But let's say, okay, I know you for close to 20 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. I mean, like when we went back, like when I first started working, it was about 2004. Now it's 2005. So at least about 20 years. And now the children grow out.
Yeah, we're all age.
Yeah.
My kids are all grown up, but I have definitely aged. Hopefully wiser.
Yeah, I mean, first, you don't look like we both 50.
Yeah, we're 50 years old.
You're a year older than me, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Am a year older than you, but none the wiser.
No, I don't think so, because I think for us, like we both are Malaysian first, and then we both came to New Zealand as an international student. You were very young when you first came to New Zealand.
Was not even 18 when I came here.
Yeah.
So I came here because I've got a blood uncle that used to, he's residing in New Zealand, and my blood uncle was telling my dad at that time, what's going to be for my future after secondary school in Malaysia. And my dad was contemplating whether to send me to Singapore or to New Zealand. And then my uncle said, okay, well, why don't you come to New Zealand? Because New Zealand back then, 20, 30 years ago, was so rural, so quiet and all that. And my uncle said, I'll be able to focus more on study. The rest is history. So I came over to New Zealand together with another family. I only just met them briefly at that time and followed them on a plane and came to New Zealand. And my uncle picked me up from the airport and drove me back to his in-laws' place. And along the way, I think he took the Aotearoa, and I thought, wow, they look like the indigenous people back in Malaysia. When I attached to them, I thought I needed, because the whole purpose of me coming to New Zealand was to learn to be independent.
Yeah, that's right.
So after a couple of months, and I moved out and started flatting with some Malaysian as well. Fortunately, Malaysians, and they were all working people, and I was the only one that's still studying. And so I learned quite a bit of craft and skills from them, how to be independent, learning how to cook. From learning how to cook, how to wash my own clothes, and having to help out with the chores of the house, having rosters and that sort of stuff. So, and even back then when I moved out, the thing that I wasn't able to, was kind of like a cultural shock, was the fact that most shops or supermarkets didn't open on the weekend. And they shut about 4, 5 in the afternoon.
I was shocked.
And I was,
when I first came to New Zealand.
yes, and I was thinking,
What
holy
happened?
hell, what happened? You know, is there some sort of rules that says that they can't open after 5 or on the weekends?
I was shocked.
Yeah, that was a huge shock for me.
It was 2001 when I first came to New Zealand.
Even so, for me, was a real adjustment.
Same.
How Malaysia was like. You could go out any time of the day. You can just find somewhere to eat. You can still shop somewhere, look at things. Even supermarkets
And
or
so
shopping malls,
cheap.
they open
Yeah.
until 10
Yeah,
p.m.
that's
Over
right.
here, 5. Everything's gone. I went to, in fact, on a few occasions, I went to some shopping malls and suddenly realized, how come the front gates was closed? And the only thing that was open was, I think at that time, McDonald's or KFC. The rest was everything shut. No lights, nothing. And I thought, did I come late? And look at my watch and no, it's still pretty early.
Yeah.
Because obviously back then the accessible to like internet was terrible as well, and you wouldn't find this sort of information online anyway.
Do you remember where you lived at the time?
Yes, Sandringham. Yes, I was living around Sandringham area, more Sandringham, Mount Albert, so was in fact pretty close. I would say walking distance, probably about 10-15 minutes to St. Luke's Mall, international students.
High school?
At high school.
Oh,
Because another funny thing was when I first started high school here, I thought back in Malaysia, I was speaking English.
Yes.
Literally, I was thinking that I was speaking English.
Yes.
But when I first started in high school,
I
could not understand their English.
Yeah.
It took me,
Same. When I was at the university.
It took me like 6 months to adjust my hearing tones to New Zealand English.
Same.
And well, I mean, yes, from back then until now, this whole sort of 30 plus years journey, New Zealand definitely has changed quite drastically to me, in a better way. Look at these days, even in Auckland, 2 out of 5 people in Auckland were born overseas. And then we have like way over 200 ethnicities in Auckland itself.
That's right.
So that has enriched Auckland as well as the whole country. I hope, I sincerely hope, because we can only advance by interacting with others. If we don't open up, when I say we as in New Zealanders, if we don't open up the country to learn, to absorb or to upskill, then New Zealand can never go beyond what they hope to achieve. So that's why I think that having all these influx of migrants as well as refugees into the country, to me personally, is a good thing, because coming from Malaysia, as you know, is kind of like the hub. You have so many migrants that coming to Malaysia to reside in Malaysia because of the low cost housing or affordable, more like affordable housing, and then as well as multicultural, multilingual country, and which is attracting a lot of people.
But you're from the...
Well, if you look at the geographically, I'm coming from the East Malaysia.
East Malaysia.
So it's on the island, Borneo Island. I come from not so big city. It's a city called Miri.
Okay.
Yes. And I was born in a different city, but pretty much I grew up in Miri. And I have lots of good friends and families members, still back home. And
your parents,
My parents are here. They've been living in New Zealand for the last, I would say, 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom in particular enjoys the weather here. Yes, it can be cold at times during winter and all that, but overall, she enjoys the quietness in New Zealand. In particularly in her home. And both my parents surrounded with really good neighbors around them. And which to me, being the eldest among my siblings, as you know, especially for the Malaysian Chinese, I personally feel that I need to take on that burdens. I need to take on that responsibilities. I need to make the efforts to try my best to look after my elderly parents, just to set examples for my children. Not saying that they have to look after my wife and I, just the fact that, I would say that's the Chinese virtue or the Malaysian Chinese virtue, I want them to carry on, perhaps if they want to, their traditions, and also like festive seasons and all that sort of stuff. We don't celebrate a lot of them, but they know quite a bit about some of the Chinese festive seasons.
Because I know what you mean. It's not necessarily like they have to look after you, but what you're trying to instill for your children is they learn about gratitude and appreciation.
Correct.
Just like your father worked hard and make you have a good education, and so you just want to show them your appreciation.
Yeah. And my parents, in fact, adore my children a lot. Because they are the only grandchildren for my parents.
I never grew up with grandparents, but I believe the best kind of love that you get from unconditional love is from your grandparents.
Oh, yeah. I was lucky enough growing up, got to know both sides of my grandparents and care by them and so forth. I haven't told you, I will be accompanying my parents to China.
No, you did.
We are planning a trip to China with some of my dad's siblings. So basically, all of them, including myself, were born in Malaysia. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, they came from China. So it's retracing the roots. And
they managed to find out where they...
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Where? Do you know where?
It's in Fuzhou.
Oh, fantastic.
They located the old house, the ancestry house, whereby they are still family members living there.
Who managed to do that?
I don't know.
Wow.
Word of mouth. One thing lead to another, because I would say from my uncle's friends, according to my dad, if I'm not mistaken, because they frequently, my uncle's friends, apparently they go to China and back to the village quite regularly by just word of mouth, asking around, and then boom, one thing lead to another, boom.
And, I don't know at all. I still have no idea.
Yes, even though none of us were born in China, but it's just growing up, my dad used to share quite a bit of how my grandparents came over from China and my great-grandparents came over from China and so forth. I think it's more like connecting the missing links for my dad and his siblings. And for me, it's more to be there to learn my whakapapa as well, and also to support my dad.
So go back to being an international student. Like when you first came to New Zealand, what was the biggest challenge besides
Besides the supermarket cultural shock, the other challenge was, like I said, the language barrier literally took me 6 months. So when I first started in the college, because I didn't know what they were saying, so ending up conversing through English, written English, for the first 6 months. And after that, boom, And then the other bit of yes.
Going back to that, isn't it fascinating that somehow your ear just like suddenly switched, the switch just turned on?
Exactly. That's how I suppose, like for me, grabbing or learning a new language as well.
Yeah.
Just first and foremost, obviously, listen, and then slowly try to make sense of some of the simple words, sentences, and then slowly try to open my mouth to say it, and one thing lead to another, boom. Like seriously, even for me, when I was in Malaysia, the few languages that I used to speak was my own dialect, obviously, Fuzhou, and then Mandarin, spoke to friends in Mandarin, and then English and Malay. That's pretty much it. So Miri, where I grew up, I have a lot of Hakka friends. So by going out, interacting with them, I learn Hakka. I won't say I speak better. Definitely, I can listen way better than a lot of others in terms of spoken Hakka. Is a bit rusty.
Hakka is hard to use.
Yeah. And then so I learned Hokkien and I learned Cantonese when I came to New Zealand when I started in uni. Because I don't want to indulge too much into how I learned those two other dialects. I learned Cantonese and Hokkien. Definitely, I learned Cantonese from Hong Kong friends. I learned Hokkien from other Malaysian friends because they were from sort of West Malaysia. And I also have like friends from Kuching, Sarawak, that speaks Hokkien. So one thing lead to another. Just adding up, all these vocabulary, just adding up, all these language or dialects. Yeah. But I mean, my wife tends to say that our children are very good at picking up new languages. I said, yeah, well, lucky for them. That's why I said that even, like I said to you just now, New Zealand, especially Auckland now, having so many groups of different ethnicities, we could literally learn new languages. May not be extensive, but even the basic greeting like hello, or try to adopt that and learn. Personally, I find language so beautiful. Oh yeah, I always like to listen to people conversing in their native language because I've got a sort of like a weird, curious mind, I would say. I like to guess what they are talking about. I like to, have a pet on myself by guessing correctly in some way. It's just possibly it's just my weird nature, I like to listen.
I mean, like, I was thinking you have that opportunity to expose to
Oh,
that
yeah,
as well because of your previous job.
Yeah, because of my previous job,
Yeah.
I keep telling people because of what I did in New Zealand Police
Yeah.
for over 22 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I always will be grateful to New Zealand Police for providing opportunity to interact with people from all walks of life, literally all walks of life.
You were the very first Asian police liaison.
Well, yes, I was the first Asian ethnicities, first full-time Asian liaison officer in the whole of New Zealand Police.
When was it? 1901?
Or no, 2003. In fact, I started in the police, working in the intelligence group, and then 2 years later, I applied for that position, and I got that position. So yeah.
First, you were working for the police intelligence.
Yeah, in the intelligence group. So I was just working in there as one of the many analysts.
Cool.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's why I said even until today, when I talk to people, I always say, tell others, I am truly grateful for the opportunity that I have had and the experience that I have gained through New Zealand Police. Even until today, I still have some really good friends that are still serving police officers, or even some of the retired police officers are still friends with them. I am still friends with them because, you go through, yes, I'm not a sort of a frontline. I wasn't any of the frontline staff.
What they call it, swarm.
Sworn
Yeah,
officer.
yeah.
So I was a civilian, non-sworn employee in the police. Getting to know them, interacting with them, hearing their stories. Policing is, I would say, even until now, policing is tough.
I know. I okay.
It's, to me personally, it's a respectful vocation, but it's really tough. It's really tough.
Especially New Zealand police.
Yes,
Yeah.
mentally you need to be able to overcome a lot
Yes.
of issues.
Yes. And
So
also,
you need to be physically as well as psychologically resilient.
because it's not like other country where you can use violence or where you can resolve, but here there are human rights and all that. They have a lot of limitation, yet they still have to do their job.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that's why I have a lot of respects for my ex-colleagues.
Yeah.
Every time when I get the chance to catch up with them, before I depart, I usually say to them, stay safe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can wish them, stay safe, because you never know when they put on their uniform, when they go out and deal with people, they are literally putting their lives in danger, at risk, and try to sometimes,
Wow.
it's quite mentally challenging. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the cut to be a sworn officer, but I am, even until now, I am very grateful to have that opportunity to work in police for so many years.
What are you even getting? Like what drive you to apply for the job?
Let's see.
What was your degree when you finished?
Uni, I did my undergraduate was majoring in statistics and operation research. So the intelligent analyst role that I applied for was try to utilize my statistics background. So I applied and I waited for quite a few months. I literally forgotten about the job that I applied for, and then received a phone call, and they said, are you still keen to come in for an interview? And and I said, yep. I went in, and later on, when I got the job, so it was just one of those job ad that I applied for at that time. And when I got that job, there was this inspector said to me, there were a lot of people applying for it, way over that time. I think he was saying that way over 200 people applied for it, and they interviewed a few, and they selected me because I would say one was the skill set.
Yeah.
The other number two was the personality that they see. Yeah.
Wow.
Just from there, was just kind of just progressing.
I didn't even know that was your, I thought you were like the police liaison. I didn't even know.
Oh, no. So from there, the intelligent analyst, there was an internal, and after I started working as an analyst, they advertised a permanent full-time Asian liaison officer, the first one for the country, and I applied for it, and I got an interview. I think, if I wasn't mistaken, they interviewed about 3 or 4 people, and I was fortunate enough, lucky enough to get that positions. Like I say, the first Asians and the first full-time Asian liaison officer. But prior to me, there was Asian liaison officer from the Pacifica background. And there was also Asian liaison officer on a portfolio basis. So I was the first the first full-time Asian liaison officer in the country.
So pretty much you have to start everything from the
scratch.
They give you training though, like, do they?
Well, obviously, they started that position because they needed, and they were seeing the trend change and increase of migrants and so forth. And they needed someone from the organization to build up that capacity. So yeah, prior to that, obviously they have started engaging with some communities. But so when I took over, I just it's like a blank piece of paper. You draw whatever, you write whatever you want on there. So I just fill in the blanks pretty much, from a blank piece of paper, started doing a bit of research, engaging with people, finding out who may be some of the key players in the so-called Asian community, or even government sectors already started also engaging with the Asian community and so forth. So yeah, just slowly build on that. Yeah.
Were you based in?
I was based in North Shore.
Okay.
So that districts at that time when I first started covers North Shore, Waitakere, and Rodney. So yeah, and then back then when I started in that role, majority of the so-called Asian population or the community were on the shore, on the North Shore, and was ideal for me. Just interacting with the community. Obviously, in the very beginning, the community people were quite, I would say, wary. They were finding it odd. Why would police want to, or police representative want to engage with them? The feeling that they taken aback was, did we do something wrong? Because back in Asia, police will only engage with individuals if you break the law. But the New Zealand police, like I said, some of the leadership, back then, they were quite bold, and they saw the need for change. They saw the need to be proactive.
Yes, that's true. I never thought about it. Like even now, we took it for granted. Like the police will just engage with the community, get to know the people and all that. But in most of the Asia countries, they don't have that kind of community response.
The community policing concept, New Zealand police focus on that a lot. A lot of the crimes that police solve were being supported or information by the community people. Because sometimes when you cannot find where to start, a good place would be people. These are the people that you could talk to.
I would say in your 22, you must have seen a lot.
Good and bad, yes. Both good and bad.
Because I work in mental health, so I've seen a lot of mental health issues presented. And so I'm very acutely aware about the mental health situations or what people gone through, because you have to respond when they need someone from ethnic background. It pretty much
could be anything. It could be as simple as to do a bit of translation or interpretations, down to comforting them because of the traumas that they face. So, I mean, I was never legally trained in counseling, but I learned along the way how to just be there, listen.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's parts and parcels of the job, I suppose,
Because we're talking about any incidents that, including car crash, potentially self-inflicted, or murder.
Yeah. So that's why I said, for police officers, they need to be physically and psychologically resilient. It's not an easy vocation.
No.
Yes, putting on that uniform is very glorified. You earn a lot of respect from community. However, you carry that risk with you too. Potentially.
Even for you, it's like 24/7.
Yes, true. Because I used to got issue with a work phone. So yes, they say when you're off work, you don't answer, but
When
they
you-
call you, meaning something
urgent,
and that's why they needed your help. Would you be so cruel
and say no?
and say I already
I hear
finished
you.
my work hours, you
Yeah.
know, for the day, and I
Yeah.
don't want to listen to that. You can't.
You can't because you know it's important. That's why.
Yes.
And then also because someone needed you
Yes.
to
Yes.
speak English or whatever reason.
Yeah. For whatever reasons.
Yeah.
So I suppose like having to,
Love job.
having to be able to speak some additional language,
Yeah.
as well as dialects.
Yeah.
It kind of helps in some way to alleviate or try to combat or help out
Mm.
some of these trouble or some incidents at times, you know.
Can I ask you, because you know, like, of course, people utilize police. It's not because they celebrate. It's because they have some trauma or situation they need to handle. And you seen a lot more things than common people have. Does it mean that you appreciate life?
Yes, I do appreciate life even more.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just sort of briefly touch on in incidents that I was helping out. Was about a kidnapping case of a little girl. And that little girl at that time was just slightly older than my own daughter. Having to hear and try to console the girl's parents day in, day out, over that period of the case. I literally went home whenever I look at my own daughter at that time. I literally went to a corner myself. I tried to go to a room myself and cry.
Of course.
Because the questions that was playing in my head was, what would I do if my own daughter was being kidnapped? How would I feel if my own daughter was being kidnapped?
Yeah.
So those questions constantly staying there every single moment when I went home, look at my own daughter. I needed to spare some time off, go to a room, quiet, and share some tears on my own.
I can understand. That's why I think, like what you say, people sometimes forget police is human being as well. And they go into the job not because they genuinely wanted to help people. And so naturally they also felt things, isn't it?
Because why would they personally, I feel more like a question that I tend to ask myself, why would they want to help others? Because they have empathy.
Exactly.
They probably have a lot more empathy than a lot of others.
I agree.
Yes, there's a job security in working in the New Zealand police. However, if you do not have empathy, you would not feel that gratitude when you help someone.
Yeah. To be honest, it's not easy as well. Yes, there's a job security, but they often being scrutinized
by societies, by media, by the
you kind of have to be so careful about how even
the image on and off duty, your image, how you present to people in general.
It's not fun. I don't think.
I always been informed or been told back in the days that you may be off duty, but you still represent New Zealand police.
Yeah, because people recognize you as one of them. Especially you're very active in the Asian ethnic communities as well. So it's not just
So yes, that scrutiny is it's always there.
But how you carry and conduct yourself, I won't be able to do it.
Come on, it just need a bit of a time. I would say anyone who have that compassion and that would have that ability to try to reinvent themselves, try to, I would say, connect with people, and even my wife was saying to me, I used to be a very, very introvert person. So in doing the job that I was doing, you simply cannot be introvert.
No,
because you have to carry yourself. You need to be proactive. So I learned to put myself out there to be scrutinized. I need to learn to put myself out there, even though at times people just said no to you right in your face. So you have to constantly put yourself out there, try to re-engage and engage with those, even those ones that say no to you. it's easy to work along, and to me, no challenge. I would say if you ask someone just answer yes to your request. The one that they tend to find more interesting for me now, looking back, was the ones that kept saying no to me and eventually say yes to me. That's to me was more rewarding. Not saying belittle the rest that say yes to me. It's just that in terms of personal achievement, I could see that, yes, their mindsets were like this, and then shift of the mindsets, and then finally collaborate with police and wanting to promote New Zealand police even. And that's, to me, I feel, yes, I've done my job.
I hear you, because gaining that trust is not easy. So you didn't just say no because someone say no. They don't want to collaborate with people.
Oh, yeah.
And also because they're not sure why you want from me.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because like I say, okay, Asians tend not to engage with police because back in Asia, that's the fact. There's a say in Chinese, isn't it? They say they don't want to go to the court, they don't want to go to the funeral, they don't want to be interacting with police, or the 3 no or whatever. There's a say in Chinese, I think. So that's with Asians. And then when we come to the rest of the ethnic communities, a lot of them will make up of refugees. And why? Why would refugees would need to escape their own country and come to a new country and so forth, because of the political opinions being suppressed and so forth. Hence, you are dealing with refugees who probably in the past life had challenges with authority as well. So you need to gain that trust, and you need to constantly be working on that too. Try to build that working relationship, having that trust. And so it's for me, there were a lot of challenges in the past, but I would say overall it was very rewarding. I've constantly also tried to remind myself that I would be successful in the role that I was doing because I had the support from the, some of the leadership, management, as well as my peers, like my old colleagues. They won't say I'm any special than anyone. Without them supporting me, I wouldn't be able to do my job as well. Like I could be, engaging with someone who was struggling with, say, conveying the message in Mandarin, but I would still require my colleague back then to carry on after I help out with interpretations or even translation, to carry out their duties to look after the complainants. Without any of my peers or ex-colleagues in the past, I wouldn't even be where.
So it's really teamwork.
Yeah.
It's not. Do you still remember your very first, not case, situation where you had to handle?
The one vivid one was, I would say, I won't say case, but more like incidents. So Northcote was pretty rough.
Yeah, in the back. Yeah,
back in those days, and I was constantly, or even the community back then, the Chinese community that lived around Northcote, they were so against police, because they see at that time they thought, how come this sort of policing? You only put one community constable there and hoping to turn things around and all that. But so I ended up have to go with the manager to public meeting, try to reassure them, and then work along constantly at that time for at least 6 months to a year, constantly with that particular community constable, try to turn things around and try to build that relationship, and also try to recruit some volunteers to get trained to interact with the with the community there, and also to taking any complaints and then pass it back to the community constable back then. So yeah, that was a huge shift in mindsets.
Wow.
A huge that for me was because back then I just landed the job not so long ago, and then boom, came out in the media that some of these Asian residents were attacked in North Coast. So yeah, so that was a huge mindset shift from a really, really negative towards the whole police into a really, really positive, I would say a really positive and good relationship.
I know, because some of them still have really high regard of you. I remember the old member. That was my old days as well. Like working with them, they speak really highly of you. Yeah, they know you very well.
Yes. I spent a lot of time on that page.
You're very quiet. You never kind of like blow your own trumpet about things that you did. I didn't even know. Like, not because of this podcast. I probably didn't even know all this.
No. I mean, come on. Like I said, I was only one member out of so many, over 10,000 employees within New Zealand Police. I was only one of them. And to me,
Like me, you're very quiet.
Yes, over the years, I could have celebrated quite a bit of achievement. I don't know. I mean, it's just my nature. I suppose.
So you really set the templates for how to work with the Asian community.
I don't know whether I can claim that.
So because there's no one had done it before, and at the time you really work with, so you have idea how to work with them, how to gain trust, and then
well, I mean, try and error, I suppose. If one thing doesn't work, find another solutions. Find other ways, other means.
And Raymond, we both know how hard it is when you're working with the Asian community. What I mean is
they have high expectations.
Exactly. High expectation, and then also social exchange, you have to do. Yeah, you have to.
And quite often they would compare like the authority back in their own country, the standards that they had or the service that they had back in their own country to New Zealand was so
how to handle
this. So that's why I said at the just now, they couldn't believe at that time that they just put one community constable in North Coast
and
to
he's
look
not
after.
even Asian, or he or she is not even Asian. Some of them can't even speak English.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why we had to think smarter, I would say look outside the box, look outside the square, try and error, do something and see whether that will come in flourish, and or if it doesn't, then what goes wrong in there, and then try to fine tune it, and then use the positive case studies and try to empower others or the new ones that comes in, and through those experience, whether there's failure or success, you just have to share with everyone, and then hopefully at times go past, they would find new ways to share their insights with you and so forth.
It was just merit as well at the time, isn't it? If I didn't wrong do the method, it was just merit.
Yes. I just got married. Not so long ago. And at that time, my wife was kind of in shock how much time that I spend on the community and how much time that I spend at home. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, you could call it pioneering, but someone has to do it, and just set the path for others. Hopefully, it will be a lot smoother path for others to walk.
Do you think it's been improved over?
Yeah, it has. In terms of the trust, between police and the community, yes, it definitely has improved a lot. There's a lot more trust involved, and and even to certain points where communities groups celebrating their events, they would invite police to come along to be to learn, to interact with other community members. It has, that collaborations, they actually do hope it remains, But whether or not it will, time will tell.
Yeah, I agree.
I suppose it depends on whoever that in that liaison team, how they see or how they feel, how they want to take things and progress things along the way. I personally believe that, yes, before I left New Zealand Police, before I resigned from New Zealand Police, I was one of the sort of a team leader. I always believe that everyone have good idea. Everyone can contribute. Even my staff at that time, I would allow them to make mistakes. I would allow them to bring in their ideas and work on their ideas. Because, I suppose it's also true that if you are in a position of comforts for too long, you only think of the ideas in
group thinking.
Yeah. So if you have staff that just come join in from external, like that, outside that bubble, they would have some more genius idea than you. Correct?
Yeah.
Different age group, different generations. That's why I always find it very intriguing in the past with my staff, talking about how they want to build or extend that working relationship. I always find it intriguing, interesting. I suppose, like you say, different generation, different age gap. They will be able to share with me like how through whatever means of social media to reach out to the community group or even because all of us are being classified into different generations. I don't even know what my generation is. Is this a Y or Z or whatever or X or whatever?
Yeah, I can't remember.
So the language that the younger generation use quite frequently, I wouldn't have a clue. They use a lot of acronyms and they use a lot of words that means this, but to me, it doesn't, wouldn't even make sense. So having staff that comes in that would willing to share that knowledge with you, that's, to me, is empowering.
Can I ask you something? Let's say based on your experience, like in New Zealand first, over 30 years, started from international student, and then also in the past experience working in the police force and seeing different problems and issues. If you can sum up some key theme for new migrants to take on board, and so that they, what would be some of the tips you provide?
Personally, I would say stay humble.
Yeah.
Be willing to stay humble. Be willing to listen to learn. To listen as well as to learn. Because we don't know everything.
That's right.
Why do I say stay humble? Because obviously people that walk the path before us would have wisdoms, would have guidance that they pass on to us for a reason. And so it's good to learn that and then probably fine tune it to today's societies and carry on with that new path. People don't just lay the foundation for no reason. So be humble to learn about it, also to listen how the challenges people go through, the experience that people go through. In some way, it's kind of tying quite closely with the Maori tikanga. If you go to any marae, you see all these pictures of some, respectful respected Maori leaders, their portraits are being hanged and within the marae, and you see all these carving the pole, which pole represent what and so forth. And so why would they have that, assist until today? Is for the young ones to go in there to absorb that knowledge.
And I know what you mean, because especially as a migrant, we only bring our own knowledge and understanding from our own country. And quite often, it's quite easy to use that as a standard to judge. But what you're saying is, be humble, because after all, this is not the same country where we came from. And there are some good learning here where things how being done that is suitable for here in the New Zealand context.
Yes, in a very because we still want to preserve the green and clean image of New Zealand, and so nuclear free and so forth, and so
What about
safety tips
in general?
I mean, in terms of safety in general, it's like anywhere else, I suppose. Sometimes it's too easy to be true. What's the terminology? Like too good to be true. Sometimes too good to be true. You get it, or you've been so-called rewarded too easily. Sometimes you have to be quite wary. Like, okay, are you falling to a trap? Are you falling into a scam?
You've seen a lot, like
and also, obviously, like in terms of other safety, it's like even back in where I originally from, if it's dark and not well lit, you try to avoid.
Exactly.
It is the same everywhere. It's just common sense.
But hearing you say that, like because that's what I understand as well. A lot of situations or robbery or whatever, people thought is well planned, but sometimes a lot of things were situation created because there's opportunity arrived.
Yes.
And then the person become the victim.
As simple as, for me, when I was back in Malaysia, I would not put bags or whatever in the car and lock and park somewhere.
Yep.
Why would I be doing that here in New Zealand? So obviously, when someone's break into the car and retrieve the stolen item, like the bags or whatever, it's a common sense. We don't do that.
Yes.
Anywhere.
That's right.
Hide it if you have to. So if we use our head a lot more, then a lot of unnecessary so-called incidents can be avoided.
Agree. Because my father is from underworld, right? So he knew, he often say a lot of things happen is opportunities, not necessarily well planned. And
you're going to cut that part out?
No, probably not. Everybody knew, like that's out on the air, even from other work that I have done. But I mean, there's a misconception people have. They thought, but it's not. It's just the opportunity arrived.
It's just the opportunity. Yes, of course. There are certain planned crime,
which is much bigger usually.
Yes, not the PD crime that's going on, but a lot of it can be avoided if we just use our common sense. Think twice before you act on it.
Even with the planned one, the best way to do it is just to let them do it. Don't intervene, because my father always tell us the same things, like stay back, let them do what they want, and then they walk away, and then no one get hurt.
Correct. Because at the end of the day, their intention was financial gain.
Exactly.
So as long as they are able to, unavoidable, if you're able to feed that gain into them, they'll just leave you alone.
People don't understand, they were pumped with adrenaline. Why you want to attack a dog when they already aggressive, like that's a lose-lose situation.
So just rule of thumbs, I suppose, like use some common sense. Think twice before you act, and even 3 times before you act on it.
But like what you say, don't put oneself in a dangerous situation.
Yes, don't put your life in a dangerous situation.
If you have to walk another 10 minutes,
correct,
raining, but it's well lit,
dark. Well, why?
Yeah.
So that's just common sense. So yeah, I mean, sometimes some people underestimated. Not saying they are foolish, just that they underestimated. They, their mentality switch has to be quite alert when you come to a new country and you call this new country your home. So just for instance, you mentioned about park. Most park back in Asia are well lit, and you have people walking, exercise way into the night as well. But over here, some parts are quite shady and quite dark, quite scary at times, when there's no street lights. So why do you want to take that shortcut where you can just walk on, spend another extra 10 minutes, walk on a well-lit path, and where also there's more people around the well-lit area as well.
Thank you, Raymond.
Most welcome.
It's really good talking to you. Learn so much from you and about you.
No, we are learning from each other. Like I say to you, I cannot do everything alone by myself. That's my philosophy is I am only capable or able because of the support from others, and
That's who you are. You're humble.
It's not humble. It's just, I know I'm not a smart person.
No, I don't think so.
I don't even know whether I'm a wise person.
It's so funny. Like you have this Cantonese called 师奶杀手, like the auntie killer. And you were so well liked among.
It's quite embarrassing. I never go out.
Where did that came from?
I don't know. It's from our mutual friend.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I never, seriously, I never go out to meet the community people and having a nickname or branded a nickname just so happened.
But they really like you because I think they feel like they can trust you and also feel safe hearing, learn from you, I think, which is big because a lot of them also don't feel safe, especially they can't speak the language and all that. So having someone can speak the language and also felt like, oh, this guy is genuine.
Well, I suppose also at the same tokens, like I'm a parent myself.
Yes.
When I speak to parents from other ethnicities, they probably could relate to me a lot more because I could use my own children as examples how to interact with them, perhaps in certain levels.
And also because you live in the community, the society, so you do have a lot of insight and able to articulate some of the challenges that they experience, so they felt like they've been seen and heard.
Yeah, whichever it is, whichever way.
Yeah.
For me, as long as the message goes out to them, I don't mind. I don't mind being branded with this nickname, that nickname, whatever it is. Even if they wanted to brand me as the worst or the most fearful person in the world, as long as I was able to convey that message to them and they're willing to participate.
They also need to know, like, just out of, like, you're not working in the police anymore.
Oh, yes. I no longer work in the police. My advice may not be valid anymore because it's not standing behind the brand of
exactly. It's through your own experience and what you have seen from a community. Yeah, it's still very important.
I'm still, even though I've resigned from the job. First and foremost, like I said, I'm grateful for the opportunity within the New Zealand Police given by the police and by some of the leaders, managements and so forth. But secondly, I'm also grateful for the community because they allowed me to walk into their space, into their world. And even until now, some of them, I still remain friends. I still know who they are, like us, still talk to them, interact with them, and still engage with them. That's how wonderful it is. That's why, I learn heaps. Seriously, I learned heaps from everyone.
And I also want to say, I didn't tell you why I invited you, even though I said, oh, friend. The reason why I wanted to invite you is the first I mentioned to you, like you were pioneering the Asian police liaison in the early day, and that's where I get to know you. And then I also know throughout the years you have a very reputable name in the police force, and as well as the communities, and everybody speak highly of you, and we collaborate many other projects
Yes.
like in the past. And to me, like I just want to honor you of your authenticity. To be honest, like it's very humbling to see someone has never changed, and you never really blow your trumpet. Like I would never even know how you started, because it's so funny. Everybody that I invited to come to the podcast, they all so humble, like every guesses. But the reason why I want to talk to them is because they just have this really nice energy about who they are as a human being, which I respect deeply, like, and also seeing you as a father, seeing you as a husband, like seeing you as your professional work, always the same person.
I suppose in the background, okay, this is in the background. I was able to achieve where I was also because of the family support. Okay, that's more important than anything else. Yes, you can get the accolade from the police leadership, you can get the accolade from the community and so forth. But if you don't get the support from your immediate family members,
your wife as
then everything is a waste to me. It's going down the drain, like my wife's
what's your tips?
Supported me wholeheartedly, and
how long you guys been together?
Oh, we've been married. This year will be our 20.
Before you married, how long you?
I dated with her for 3 years.
So that's 30 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
What's your tips?
No tips.
No tips.
No tips
for men.
Yeah. Well, I make a lot of mistakes. My wife is very forgiving.
I think common to everybody make mistake. Like what you say, it takes two to tango, and also having a good wife, of course, to help.
Yeah, because I mean, our children. I always say this to people. Our children are at where they are at this point in time. It's not my hard work. It's her hard work. She was a full-time mom. She literally looked after the children and allowed me to work as hard as I wanted in my job.
Yes.
And so all these like parenting meeting and all these driving them to school, picking them up, taking them to see doctors when they're sick, attending their events. A lot of it were single-handedly taken upon by my wife.
I hear you, because your job is quite, not saying, even though you have a 9 to 5, but the time is still quite unpredictable. So you can't necessarily schedule everything according to your wish. And she has to be so
flexible and willing and willing to
and not create any fuss about it as well, isn't it?
So so I have to say I'm a very, very lucky man.
I will cut this for your wife.
Overall.
You can play it. So I say I am a very, very lucky man.
Yeah. I am a very lucky man.
Awesome. And just one last thing, looking through your life, if there is something you can say back to Raymond when he first came to New Zealand, what would you say to him?
I would say expect the unexpected. I was never ever diligent in studying, but in terms of the path that has taken me to where I was, I don't think I ever regretted that. If you say, would I change anything? I would say no, because if I changed something, I wouldn't have met my wife, in life.
Where is she from?
She's from Malaysia too.
Okay.
But from a different state.
My part or your part?
It's from the peninsula. It's from Ipoh.
Ipoh. Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So from your part, yeah. So I wouldn't want to change anything. Yeah, if I had the chance to have like a time travel machine to go back, if I even alter anything in the past, it's perhaps, I would pay more attention in studying and so forth. But if I was taking that path and secure whatever different job or whatever, I probably wouldn't have come across my wife.
But I like what you say, expect the unexpected. That's really good. You say that I will look at my life, I would totally agree as well. Well put.